there guys, welcome back to another awesome video. And today we have another top 10 video. And today's top 10 video is going to be the top 10 DC villains. So for this list, we'll be looking at all around DC villains throughout comics, throughout pop culture, media, all that stuff. Some of these you guys might be familiar with, and some of these you guys might not be familiar with. There's a bunch of DC villains out there. There's probably a lot that I'm forgetting for sure. But without further ado, let's get into this. And at number 10, we've got Catwoman. I know she more or less plays that anti-hero card in more recent years, and with how well she's portrayed throughout movies and shows, that she plays that anti-hero card a lot, working with Batman and sometimes fighting against Batman. But I wanted to at least mention, be fair and mention one villainess in the DC universe, and I feel like the one that's kind of one of the best out there is Catwoman, for how just conniving she is, and just that classic cat burglar, cat and mouse, bat and the cat sort of aesthetic that she always has, that joyful fun that she has when it comes to being a villain. And she loves the thrill, the run, the hunt, the chase of being that thief that Batman always has to catch and always escape. And that's what we love about Catwoman. At number 9, we've got Bane. Bane has become so iconic throughout the years, and it's just that look to him is so iconic, and just how strong he is and how powerful he is. But I've come to appreciate him a lot more, besides the aesthetic that he's strong and powerful. He's got that toxic venom in him that obviously gives him the juice to be as strong as he is, and if not, be a lot stronger. But also the fact that I love that, I know they did this from the get-go, but I like that in recent years, because of things like the Dark Knight trilogy and other newer things with Bane, they've made him more intelligent. He's more smarter. He's not just brawn, he's brain. He's a tacticianist. He's very a strategized man with muscle. And I think that really helps again with the Dark Knight and other things. But there's just something great about Bane, and plus he's just so infamous for breaking the bat physically, being one of Batman's 3 rivals in terms of Bane being that one that broke the bat. And number 8 is Bizarro. I have a soft spot for Bizarro on several reasons. I love that he is literally the opposite of Superman. Instead of heat vision, he has cold vision. Instead of freezing breath, he has a hot breath. Instead of his S being an actual proper S, it's a backwards S, or a reverse flipped S, like a mirror reflection reverse, like this right here and this right here. So something like that I love. I just like Bizarro because I like how he used to be treated, because I like that when at a certain point I noticed that Bizarro was kind of treated as a joke, and I kind of liked when he was treated more seriously, more like this intimidating threat, this clone or somewhat clone or opposite of Superman that was able to defeat him, and that kryptonite actually makes him stronger, or I think kryptonite makes him stronger, and there's something else that weakens Bizarro, which is interesting because obviously, again, plays on the reverse of Superman. Superman's weakness is Bizarro's strength, and so on and so forth. And he's become kind of a goof a little, and there was at a certain point I didn't like that he was treated like a goof, but then again, I've come to love, but kind of come to hate, but again, come to love that Bizarro is kind of a doof. He's kind of a goof a little, because he's not so smart, because obviously, he, not only is he just kind of treated almost like he's Solomon Grundy, brainless, brain dead almost, but it kind of does make sense because he is the opposite of Superman. So Superman is a very smart person. Bizarro is not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I still like that he's treated as more than just a joke. Sometimes that joke can work, but I like when he's treated as an actual threat for Superman, and that's where he shines the most, I think. At number 7 is Deathstroke. Yes, the Terminator himself. I feel like he's the perfect assassin, just such a great villain, and I know he's kind of gone on and off helping Batman, fighting against Batman. He's an anti-hero, he's like a gun for hire, he just works with whoever hires him, whether that be the Justice League or even the Legion of Doom, but he's always going to be Deathstroke the Terminator to me, no matter what the case may be, no matter what the circumstances. He's so cool, he's such a badass, and you just have such great iconic interpretations and versions of the character, whether it be the original Deathstroke the Terminator, or you have something like the Teen Titans Ron Perlman Deathstroke, or even something from the Arrowverse. There's a few versions out there, and even the Arkham Deathstroke they're all great, and they all make him look like such a badass because he is the perfect ultimate badass. At number 6, the Reverse Flash. Definitely one of Barry's greatest foes and one of his probably most deadliest villains out there, because he rivals literally the Flash. He is always faster, if not the fastest man alive compared to Barry Allen. He's always one step ahead of Barry, and no matter what, no matter how many times this man gets killed, he just somehow makes a way for him to go back in time and save himself, or somehow create a multiverse, create something where he survives his own death, because there's so many times that he's killed himself or he's got himself killed or whatever it is. He's just somehow manages to just fuck with time so much. We've talked a bit about how much that Reverse Flash has just messed with time travel a lot, and he uses that to his own gain in his own game. And I think that's what makes him so crazy and so obsessive, is because no matter what he does, he's going to try and come back and make sure Barry Allen's life is a living hell, because he made his life a living hell by being always in the Flash's shadow. And now he's no longer in the Flash's shadow, but at least Barry knows who he is, and that's what he got, and that was his goal, was to be someone that he knew of, like he was once best friends with, and now he's like, you notice me, like you can notice me now, you see who I am. That's all I wanted, was you to know me. And that's what I got. And he's become well-versed, and I think he's become even better and better because of things like the CW. Alright, and you're down our final 5, my list. Now, number 5 is Doomsday. I had to mention the creature, the being that literally killed Superman. This was a rare thing to see, or a rare sight to have. I know there's a lot of entities and gods and characters that are able to take down Superman and outwit Superman, but there's something about when Doomsday first showed up on the block back in the 90s with the death of Superman, and him being the gall and having the gall to kill Superman was just so groundbreaking. And it still is mind-blowing to see this thing become this raging monster and this creature, this being that's able to adapt to his surroundings and was able to destroy one of DC's greatest heroes. And this thing's just a powerhouse. Like I said, able to adapt to his surroundings and then some, and becoming more stronger and stronger and stronger each time. And no matter what, just becoming more and more powerful. At number 4 is Brainiac. So instead of becoming more stronger in terms of strength, Brainiac is so much more in intelligence, and with his capabilities and his power and his advancements and his technology, the way he just works, and how sometimes he can be very creepy and he's very calculated, and there's just something awesome about Brainiac that I just love and grasp towards a lot and gravitate towards. I think he's just become a great villain because he's not just about strength, it's about more of intelligence, and he actually is one of the very few villains that respects Kal-El in a way. And I find it still intriguing that he's one of the very few people that calls Superman Kal-El, especially when you watch Superman the animated series, how many times he calls him Kal-El, not Superman. At number 3 is Lex Luthor, the greatest Superman villain of all time. I had to mention Lex. Well, one of the greatest Superman villains out there. In terms of the fact that I gotta give Lex Luthor so much respect, because he is just a mere man, and him being able to find ways to outmaneuver, outsmart, and outwit Superman, becoming stronger and finding other things that could destroy the Man of Steel, finding what makes the Man of Steel tick and making sure he finds that weak spot, that soft spot, and then once he finds that weakness and that soft spot, boom, like a dagger in his back instantly. Like, he's the thorn in Superman's side, and no matter what, he will do whatever it takes to get rid of Superman at all costs. Even if it all means that Metropolis sees Superman as a hero, he sees him as a threat. And number 2 is the Joker, the clown prince of crime himself, the clown of chaos, the jester of genocide. Every term you can find in the book about the Joker. I think let's just face it, the Joker's great, he's iconic, he is that villain that will, again, like with Lex Luthor, Joker is Batman's thorn in his side. and how much of that we are destined to do this forever sort of philosophy, and just how many great performances and interpretations we have of this character, that it feels like it fits so well with Joker's origin in that sense of it's all multiple choice. From Mark Hamill, to Cesar Romero, to Jack Nicholson, to Heath Ledger, to Joaquin Phoenix, to whoever may else play the clown Prince of Chaos. Now, before I unveil my number one pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Mongol. I think Mongol's kind of a little underrated because I don't know why, I always have a soft spot and always kind of like and respect a lot of those villains that were stronger than Superman. Maybe it's just because the fact of that we have villains like Lex Luthor, that even though he found ways to try and kill Superman, you had beings that showed up in the comics and in cartoons and in film that showed that, oh, there are aliens and creatures out there that can defeat and give Superman a run for his money, and Mongol was one of them. Red Hood. I know Red Hood has been more of an anti-hero and he's more accepted into the Bat family. I will always see that vengeful revenge killer villain in Jason Todd. Sinestro. I just really like Sinestro a lot because he's the opposite to Hal Jordan, in the sense that Hal Jordan represents hope, Sinestro represents fear, and just the stakes he's willing to make to get what he desires, to the point where he got his own Lantern Corps. He made the Yellow Lantern Corps into the Sinestro Corps. And again, that fear, and he even obliterated his own people to get what he desired, just because he was basically resigned from the Green Lantern Corps for his wrong actions, when he felt he was justified by his actions. Ra's al Ghul. You have the Joker, who is the thorn in his side. You have Bane, who is the man that broke the bat. But you have Ra's al Ghul, who is the man that just was able to beat Batman physically and mentally. And that's what's great about Ra's al Ghul, how smart and strong he was physically and in combat and intellectual. Owlman. I love me some Owlman. I love that he is a almost exact opposite of Bruce Wayne, because it's Thomas Wayne Jr. He killed his own family, and he is psychotic in a weird sense. And I just like versions of Owlman, specifically it's Crisis on Two Earths Owlman, that makes me like this character a lot, and he's so underrated. Alright, my number one pick of my top 10 DC villains is, drumroll please, Darkseid. This guy right here himself, I feel he's one of the most strongest, one of the most powerful villains in the DC universe. Has great presence to him. He is like the definitive villain in Superman's rogues gallery. Even though Doomsday did kill Superman, he is considered a big, dangerous level threat. Darkseid is like the ultimate level threat. You don't want Darkseid to ever come to Earth, because once Darkseid comes to Earth, all hell literally will break loose. Literally, he's almost destroyed Earth. He almost even made Earth into his own world, like Apocalypse. He destroyed it, made it into a living hell, a nightmare-like planet with so much darkness and such destruction, because of the power that Darkseid has, and because he has so much respect as a god, because even though he's a villain and the Justice League see him as a foe, he's still considered a respectful, powerful god, that he just seeks justice and seeks balance, and his balance is finding the anti-life equation. When he finds the anti-life equation, then that's it. Like, it's basically Armageddon, and there's just so much I love out of Darkseid. He's just one of the greatest. And those are my favorite DC villains. There are tons and tons out there that I forgot, and definitely I know in my brain, I'm like, I forgot about this guy. And there's still some that I know in the back of my brain in terms of memory and my core memory of DC villains. What are some you think are your favorites, or what are some you guys think I should have mentioned, or what are some that you might think I've forgotten? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. We do awesome videos every day, every week. Make sure you ring that bell to new videos every week. Share the video with your friends, all the good stuff and more. or leave some suggestions in the comments section. You name it, I'll look into it as best as possible. Depending on when this gets uploaded, this will probably after my vacation, most likely. If not, you guys might be just lucky. I'll have this up within a day, like probably after my stream I did for Fall Guys. But most likely, this will be after my vacation. So look out for this. Look out for other things like my movie reviews, some more top 10s, all crazy stuff, and more. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.